So the Mortal Kombat 30th anniversary has come and gone, and while it was very exciting to kind of relive the good old days of the OG Mortal Kombat and even share some of my own memories of when I got to play the very first game on Super Nintendo, I basically mained Raiden and did his flying move over and over and over against a friend of mine that spent the night at his house quite a bit, and we played that, and let's say his Kano main just wasn't up for this task. But nonetheless, a lot of going down memory lane with the Mortal Kombat 30th anniversary, as it should be, but no new game announcement, no new announcement of any sort, so to speak, except for, which I'm going to cover in another video, Mortal Kombat Legends 4, so keep an eye out for that video. But that obviously led to a lot of disappointment and, unhappy fans. But there's a possible reason for why we did not get a Mortal Kombat 12 announcement. And yeah, let's dive into that. So this is going to be a very business-centric talk because, the topic at hand could stem from possible future business dealings with Warner Brothers Discovery, NBC Universal, and Warner Brothers Games. So get ready. So as I said, the Mortal Kombat 3rd anniversary is come and gone. A lot of fans were disappointed. Ed Boon kind of already set the stage, kind of trying to help save our disappointment with a tweet he put out on the 4th saying, PSA FYI, we know a lot of you are excited about the next NetherRealm Studios game announcement, and it will happen in due time. But first, it is all about the 30 years of Mortal Kombat. That's what we're going to celebrate and focus on. Our next game announcement will be separate from Mortal Kombat 30 Love. So, knowing that Ed Boon has acknowledged fans' interests, that's probably the best communication we've had in a long time, just straight from creator to fans of Mortal Kombat 12 happening. It's going to happen. But a lot of people want to know, why not now? Why not next year? It's crazy. I've been covering some recent leaks, and even 2 months ago when I did the Mortal Kombat Leaks Bingo episode, on there it said 2024, and I thought that was kind of crazy. And then in the recent, I think where it's kind of like the insider details leak that I covered, even in that video, someone mentioned, with supposed insider knowledge from NetherRealm Studios, that 2024 was going to be the year that we'd actually get Mortal Kombat 12. That seems so far away. We know in typical game fashion it's either spring or fall, so a whole 2 years away, but we thought that's kind of crazy. Why not now? Well, we may have a reason why, with the possibility of Warner Brothers Discovery being bought out by NBC Universal. Now, this is all still kind of up in the air, may or may not happen, but it's looking to be true. Many of the trades have reported, especially in the Hollywood Reporter, more of the movie entertainment division, talking about how possibly in 2024, NBC Universal would acquire Warner Brothers Discovery, buying everything, including, lo and behold, Warner Brothers Games. So this merger, of course, cannot take place until specifically April 2024, and that's when Comcast has the right, but not the obligation, to sell its remaining 33% stock of Hulu to Disney. Very interesting. I think that will totally happen. I think Disney is ready to roll Hulu into Disney Plus, so they're going to, buy out NBC Universal from that. So once they've unloaded Hulu, they can then be able to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery. That's a big deal for NBC Universal, and I think that would be something that they would totally want to do. And I feel like possibly David Zaslav, who's now in control of Warner Bros. Discovery, would want to do too, because I don't know that they have all the capital that they need right now. Because, now that they bought Warner Bros. Discovery, yes, they're making money, but they're trying to pay off their debt from buying the company. So I think for them, they may be like, let's just pay off the debt, let's get a profit in return, and then walk away happy, right? They don't have to actually run the company per se for very long, but they're going to walk away with a profit. And I think that's what the business game is about. So what's interesting about this is, I know in previous articles we've seen online, because the topic was, where is Warner Brothers Games in all this? For a while, we didn't hear that. We just heard about the Warner Brothers movies, TV, animation, nothing about Warner Brothers Games. And then some headlines came up that, Warner Brothers Games is good as is. Well, in a Axios article back from August of this year, head of Warner Brothers Games, David Haddad, hopefully I'm pronouncing his last name right, mostly talked about the studio's current successes with the games they've had with Lego Star Wars Skywalker's. Oh my gosh, Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. That's a tongue twister. Elden Ring and the recent multiverse is kind of like 1, 2, 3 punch. And then continue to talk about the upcoming slate of games coming out with Gotham Knights, which comes out this month, Then you have, the continually pushed back Hogwarts Legacy, which is supposed to be in February. And then you have Suicide Kill the Justice League, and that's going to be TBD 2023. So you kind of have this slate of games come out. So that we have 3 games that are out and are doing well. And then you have these other games that are kind of come out to kind of get you all the way to 2024 that could possibly do well as well. And that's not the way to say it, but could possibly be as successful and do good things for Warner Brothers Games and Warner Brothers Discovery. But there was no mention in that article anywhere about NetherRealm Studios or Mortal Kombat or Injustice. And I think that's very coincidental. That's done on purpose. So, as I said in previous articles, we were talking about the current state of Warner Bros. Discovery and how David Zaslav is running the company. He's doing it very, very lean, right? He's trying to pay off debt and ultimately make a profit from acquiring Warner Bros. Discovery. Who does not want to make money? So it's been talked about in their movie division that, with the current slate of movies, they really don't have any extra capital to put up to bring on new projects, release new movies. They're kind of just stuck with what they've got till the end of the year. Yes, there's been other things announced that would possibly happen in 2023, but nothing too further down the line than that. Everything's still kind of in development, up in the air, nothing guaranteed, right? So I think that if they're able to put up a little bit of money up front to give some of the current slate TLC of movies, it's safe to say that's going to be the same thing for the games, right? Well, Mortal Kombat 12 isn't a game that's currently slated, right? It's still in development. It's still just being talked about. We know it's going to happen, but there's no announcement or release date, right? There's not even a TBD. So because of that, that's as far as MK12 can go. That's just the reality of things. I think that there isn't any, it's not a priority for David Zaslav because he's trying to pay off debt, make a profit, possibly even make Warner Bros. Discovery enticing for someone else to acquire it. Maybe NBC Universal, maybe Apple, maybe Amazon, somebody else. So that's why, had to describe those games that have been successful current and what's to come and nothing else other than that. Which, the way games are going nowadays in the industry, a game gets announced, I feel like the expectation now is whatever date they say is taken with a grain of salt, right? It could be pushed later on down the line. So I think the same could be said for Mortal Kombat 12. I think we all would have loved a teaser or an announcement for the 30th anniversary, which we did get something, just not what we really wanted, but we got something about Mortal Kombat 12. But I do think that the reason why Ed Boon can't say anything, any of the NetherRealm Studios team can't say anything, is because Zaslav is just telling them to not say anything, or Haddad is telling them not to say anything and just stay the course. You can celebrate Mortal Kombat, but don't tell fans anything because we don't actually know if it's going to happen. Now, it is possible that one of those games could get spun off between now and 2024, and that might allow Ed Boon and NetherRealm Studios to be able to share more details in 2023. Maybe Microsoft will take it, or EA, or Apple or Amazon or Google, or somebody might buy them. Sony might buy them. Heck, I don't know. Someone might buy them, and that might allow them to, discuss something. As I said earlier in the video, and we discussed previously on this channel, Mortal Kombat games typically come out in the spring, specifically April, and even in the fall, specifically October. Hello, the 30th anniversary of Mortal Kombat in October. So, that doesn't necessarily deter Ed Boon and NetherRealm Studios from keeping up with that timeline. This may have further delayed between games, but that doesn't mean that we still won't get something like we're used to. Now, an interesting thing that came up with this is, what if one of those games went to NBC Universal? What would that be like, right? Can you really think to yourself, what game do you remember that Universal released, right? Or NBC Universal? Think to yourself, what game that you could buy on console do you remember that was made by Universal Games? Do you remember it? Well, I have some information about that because I was curious myself. And based off this previous history, I don't think we can really rely on NBC Universal to really handle NetherRealm Studios or Warner Bros. Games that well. But NBC Universal recently closed its Games and Digital Platforms division, which mainly handled mobile and PC games, of its popular IPs like Minions, Jurassic World. They even had the Funko Pop game you could buy like on your phone, that kind of stuff, right? That level, nothing console level. That was way back in 2003 when they made games about Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, if you remember that. And that's such a long time ago. That's almost 20 years ago next year. And then they got acquired by Vivendi Games, which didn't last that long. And that only went up to 2008. So after that, there was nothing traced for Universal. So I don't have a lot of faith that that would be something that we'd want. You know, I think we hope, we hope that maybe Warner Bros. Games could just be on its own, right? I mean, if Headed is saying that they've made a good profit this year, their games are successful, if these next 3 games are successful, maybe they could just be on their own. But everything needs its money to back it. So hopefully, and I could be wrong, maybe Universal is ready. Maybe NBC Universal's like, you know what? We would love to have Warner Bros. Games and obviously going to rebrand it, but we'd love to have them and its studio portfolio and make great games. You know, it talked about in the Axios article, someone I guess was talking about Legos, because in the licensing, and they have said that they can hope to continue to have that partnership. So, you know, maybe that's just, I think that Warner Bros. Games has a lot of good IPs that other gaming studios out there would be very interested in, and hopefully another company will buy them, and that's, you know, we can continue on what we want to continue on. So do I think we'll get a Mortal Kombat 12 game? Yes, just not right now. I think it's been put on hold. It's been postponed. I think, but I do feel like that's okay. I do feel like it's okay. We had Mortal Kombat 11. We have Mortal Kombat Mobile still kicking. They're getting some new updates that we've already had Mortal Kombat, but they're getting good stuff, right? I think it's okay. I know that we want stuff now. We want the instant gratification, but I think we can wait. And I think that if we do get an announcement next year, I don't think a release, but if we get an announcement next year for 2024, 2025, I'm saying 2025 now, I feel like the wait will be worth it, right? I think the time and energy and effort into the game, I think that will be good stuff for it. I know in the previous leak that I covered about the inside details, there was probably some political stuff and stuff about LGBTQ, and I think that's all just kind of meh. I don't think that's the real reason. I think the reason is what I covered in today's video, which is the possibility that WB Games may be spun off or be acquired by NBC Universal with the WB Discovery deal in 2024, and that's why we're not going to get a Mortal Kombat 12 game. So, what are your thoughts? What do you think about Mortal Kombat 12 being postponed? Do you think we'll still get it next year? Do you think NBC Universal will be a good company for WB Games to be under? Or if not, who would you like to see buy Warner Bros. Games? Or maybe just another studios. That's it for this video, guys. Enjoy that like button. For more, like this, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time on the Mashup.